You have 66. That's respectable. Alright, so they have Jungle Tom Kench, which clears extremely slowly. Does alright on single target camps, clears extremely slowly in general, has relatively low gank pressure unless he can come out behind you, at which point, if he can stack up his passive, you basically die for free. If he's in a situation where he can land his tongue and lick you twice, and then still get the, and if he can chase you to get the W, then you basically die for free. Blitzcrank Misfortune versus Brand Jinx. Brand Jinx should win that lane, but Blitzcrank Misfortune has a lot of early power. If they get even like a single hook or something, they can turn that really easily. It'll be really easy to gank that bot lane. Both the support and AD carry are immobile. Misfortune's relatively low range, and then Brand and Jinx both have potential setup slash follow up for when you go to bot lane. So that can be really good. Top lane is Akali versus Teemo. Teemo will bully her really hard early, and then post 6, if she isn't too bullied, she has really big kill potential on the Teemo. I don't know what their runes are yet until we get into the game, but if he has Unsealed Spellbook, him switching to TP later could be good, but if he has Airy plus Ignite, it could be a little longer before Akali can find her window to be able to all-in him safely. But your team generally will just scale better across the board. Teemo will end up being relatively useless as Akali has a lot of targets for later in the game, and you have longer range on your backline and higher DPS. And Shyvana will be able to outscale this Tahm Kench to all hell. So this game going a little later isn't necessarily a bad thing. You guys wouldn't mind if the game went a little bit later. You guys have extremely high magic damage as well, so they should be building a very high MR, and you might need Pen earlier than you would in an otherwise game. Normally I don't think you should build like Void Staff necessarily to like 4th or 5th item, let's say, but maybe in this game, if they built a significant amount of magic resist, then like Void Staff could be warranted earlier in the game. Granted, 4 people on their team probably won't build any early. Blitzcrank could, Tahm Kench should, unless he's going some crazy on-hit Tahm Kench, which would just be ludicrous. What else is there? I don't know if you needed cleanse, because the only CC they have that you can meaningfully cleanse is Lux Root. If they had a jungler with more reliable CC that he could land, then I could see it, or if they had a support that cleanse did something to. But against what they have, barrier might be better, or even into their composition, you could probably go Ghost. Ghost can be really good for the situations that you can take it. But barrier would be good here, heal can be good. And the assumption should be that Lux won't take Ignite, because Luxes very rarely take Ignite. And if Luxes don't take Ignite, then it's generally really safe to... Oh, hell yeah, bro. Reconnect. Then if Lux doesn't take Ignite, then it's generally really safe to take Heal. Generally, Heal is the best summoner as long as they don't take Ignite, which you would expect Lux not to, so you could probably get away with it. I think this Lux did. I'll find out when this comes back up. Yeah, so this Lux did take Ignite, but she has Unsealed Spellbook. So that's interesting. Most Luxes do not go Unsealed Spellbook or Ignite. But yeah, since this Tahm Kench doesn't have Flash, it'll actually be relatively hard for him to get like 3 stacks. He should never be able to feasibly do that, and since they only have the one meaningful CC for you to cleanse here is probably bad. Probably better off taking Healer Barrier. Heal tends to be better too when you can 2v2 with your jungler, if Shyvana is going to be the aggressor in the jungle, because heal obviously applies to both, whereas Ignite or Barrier or whatever it might be is a very selfish summoner. When you get the value from both people with heal, then it tends to be by far the best. So we'll direct the camera to Talia. You have Dematerializer, that's fine. Lots of people like Dematerializer. Most people go Airy on Talia. In general, people think it's kind of strictly better, because if you combo somebody and you start with your W for the combo, like you start the combo like from like max or from like far range, then Comet always misses because the W knocks them out, because it's the first thing that does damage, so it shoots the Comet there, but then they get moved out of it, so the Comet doesn't land. In lane, Comet's fine, and later in the game you can get big value Comets, but Airy is much more potent early and more reliable as the game progresses, so most people like Airy. I think just statistically it has a much higher win rate as well. You should be moving to the side here with this vision, and you can cut them off and do lots of Q damage. You should be involved in this. Your Q at level 1 does a crazy amount of damage. You need to be involved in this. You could have moved around when the 2 were here and been throwing Qs at them from the side, and there's not really any threat to you because they can't close the gap on you meaningfully regardless with like the pair that they have. And then this shouldn't be like allowed to happen basically. If you're going to be in mid right now, you have to hard push. Like, you should just be spamming Q. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, there you go. Make sure that Lux loses something for it. And then after you push in these 2 creeps, you move up anyway. So this creep and go up. You would go up. Go respond. You should go this way. Go respond. Because you could harry them on the way out. They could lose a lot more health. You could even have, like, potential kill threat or get, like, summoners out. So definitely keep an eye on what was happening here in the jungle, because if you kept an eye on what was happening, you'd know they're all low, exiting a certain way. They're all exiting left here, and then you could move up and you can harry them, and it's relatively safe for you to do so. And you could have a much bigger impact on that level 1 fight. You were playing it really safe, and initially, I don't know if you saw it, but initially you can move around. You can even just move up and throw keys at them. Your level 1 is really strong as Talia. And then you have to push as hard as possible when you get to lane here if you're going to go to lane. Otherwise, you should be up here responding and making them leave because they're going to lose just as much as you do, but they're on your side of the map and you have the stronger level 1. So you want to make sure you abuse that stronger level 1. So just be mindful of like where you can be on the map. Right now would be a really good time to go ward down this way if you have a ward up. Interesting time to roam because you could push in another wave in mid. At least you took your W. A lot of times I don't take W till 4 because I don't look for like roams like this. So when you move up to somebody, you want to be close enough to them that you can E for the slow to make the W more reliable if you're going to start with E. Otherwise, you wait for somebody else to try to land something or like a slow or a kill, and then you W out of it. So like in this scenario, when it's like not guaranteed or not very reliable, you move up, you get the E for the slow, and then you W them back into the E from there because the slow makes it easier. Otherwise, it's not worth trying to combo. You might as well just Q them for the poke damage and then not waste your mana. Because it costs a lot of mana to try combos. Tom Kench fell behind early. He didn't get the smite on the red buff, and now he can barely clear the jungle. Real problems. I'll leave it back on directed camera. That didn't even combo necessarily. If you're trying to kill a back wave there, then you should E immediately after the W. That came out a little late, so it didn't do like the full damage that it could have. If the goal is to hit Lux, then you should wait for her to move up to hit a creep. Let's watch. Let me watch her for a second. So when she moves up to like this next wave, we'll find opportunities to do it. So like she's gonna, alright, she just missed that creep. I was gonna say she would have to do one more auto for that creep. Let's wait. Stop moving directed camera. So she's gonna auto there, and when she autos there, this is gonna be her auto range. These are the places that she can be. Fuck you, directed camera. I said I wanted to focus on Talia. So you want her to be forced into an animation to guarantee your W has a better chance of landing. We're gonna watch Brand get murdered. Not quite. I don't think that guy needed the flash. She could flash forward and kill him. They don't have heal. She doesn't know how powerful she is. She should push this in, and you should be looking for a recall. Because you should have more than enough money to get a tier, so you should just recall by tier. And recalling at this time is really good. See, because you're sitting in lane and you're actually useless. But if you recall here on the wave that's pushed in, it's hard for her to push it back in time, so you can run back to get most of the creeps that are going to be coming. So you miss as little as possible, and then when you don't miss much, you're also only like 2 waves away from 6. So when, well, 1 wave away from 6, like that's what I meant. But you would be 2 waves if you came from base, 'cause you'd probably miss part of the first one. So if you recall there and you get your tier, you're gonna have enough mana to immediately push the wave back because she's gonna want to match your recall, and then you can you roam straight to bot lane and punish the fact that Blitzcrank might not have flash when he would have still been there, or that Misfortune is immobile when she would be there, and you could be here with Shyvana. When you're looking for roams, You want to make sure you have enough mana to do it, and you want to make sure that you push in the wave as far as possible before you look for the roam at all. Unless you're the one on the back foot, and then you just kind of take the best recall you can get, which they have to kind of like give to you. That last auto, fuck that creep up. Shyvana's too deep when your bot lane is playing too far back. I don't think she can die for it though, because his stuff's on CD. Yeah, she's fine. Alright, so you want to push this in, because it just got here. You should have saved your mana for a Q here. The W doesn't do nearly as much damage. And then, when you're pushing like this too and you don't have much mana, you can also use Q while you're on worked brown, take a couple out. Because you're only going to want the big hits anyway. So the little hits that would follow don't matter. This is a recall. This should have been a recall like a minute ago. But it's still, you need to recall. And you want to push it in as hard as possible before you get a recall in. So. Lost Chapter. Okay if you're building toward Ludens. If you think you're going to get blue buffs. In solo queue, you're generally not going to get blue buffs. He's dead. So a lot of times people go tier to make sure that they can function. She just like flashed in place. Nuts. So their blitz still isn't going to have flash in bot lane. So what you should be looking for, ideally, is this Teemo is really low, and this blitz is pushed up in bot lane. If their blitz stays forward, you can wall him off, and he dies for free. Teemo already died. So, but this is good. This is pushing toward her. This is what she would want anyway. And you can play really aggressive into this Lux, because if she lands a bind, she can't combo you. Because you have cleanse. So you can be the aggressor. Not into like this big of a wave anymore, but like last wave necessarily, you could have been the aggressor. Because when you have cleanse, Lux's only way to do meaningful damage to you is going to be to like combo you. And you have the you have an answer to that at all periods. You should be up for this. So you could threaten a W. Because she has to walk by the Shyvana. Since she has to walk by the Shyvana, there's not very many options for where she can really go. You're going to be too low to meaningfully roam. She's going to look for an ult. Yeah, good sidestep. You need to recall, and then you need to find opportunities again to push up without fighting her as much, and then look for a roam. You don't need to necessarily fight her. And if you go somewhere while you're at 20% health, you can die. So it's not safe. You could die to an E auto right now. If she landed a straight E on you, then she could kill you. Because she could auto you, or ignite you if she was in range, or just flash auto you and it would follow you and you would die. So not safe to be in lane at like this health. She doesn't appear to be punishing you for it, but that doesn't make it any less safe. That wouldn't hit you. Bot lane looking like a shit show. This is still something that you can potentially fix. Or you can all in on this top side where your Akali is already doing alright and try to get her further ahead. The Shyvana will die if she keeps chasing. Auto! Teemo didn't auto! He just needed to auto one more time, she was dead. Alright, Teemo's inting. So a big takeaway already. You need to realize when that you should be recalling. Because you're staying in lane when you're too low to roam, which gets rid of a big part of Talia's power. And you're staying in lane when you are too low on mana to roam, which is a big part of your power. So you need both of those resources to be able to effectively roam. And for this, when they're doing this kind of like thing in bot lane, you should be running straight to bot right now. This shouldn't be to mid. You should be running straight down here, because you could potentially punish this. There's 3 people that are in a kill range for you. This should be you going straight to bot lane. You should give up the one wave here and look for something. There is the risk that like if you did it in the wrong place, then you could die to like Blitzcrank CC, but the potential is very high, where you could just get a very, very quick kill, basically uncontested. And then you can move mid after, because it would move you like half the way, because you'd ult from like here to here, look for a quick kill, and then still make it to mid like 5 seconds later than you already did. But while you have health and you have mana, you should be looking for opportunities to leave lane. So you'd want to push up this next wave, and you want to go somewhere. This can be fine. Make the wall early. You should have went with it. If you go with the wall here, and then Blitzcrank runs up to the wall, then you can, you know he has to flash it if he wants to live, so a W after he flashes is pretty free. Or if you get a W before he flashes, then he doesn't get to flash at all. Those are your options. But you should have rode that wall down. Which is just another tap on the R. Don't chance your spells when you're not sure. Wait until you see him, and then if you are in range to already E, then you should lead with E and then W them back into it to make it guaranteed rather than E as like a follow-up. If you have the time to guarantee it, then you should guarantee it. If you can't guarantee it, then yeah, that makes perfect sense, but this is still your timing to roam though. Even without ultimate, you're going to have the wave pushed in here way before she can respond. This is still your timing to leave lane. You can go anywhere. You have a pink ward on top side, and their bot lane's not there, so you should run straight to top right now. They're already fighting. She's not going to be able to kill. You could have been halfway to top lane. You could kill this Teemo. You could be the one that kills this Teemo. Because even if he stays at turret, you can move out behind turret. Akali pushes up, and he dies. So this was your window to go top side. Jinx here with one hell of a flank. Oh, nuts. She's just gonna die. Oh my. Oh my. Interesting. Interesting. This is getting to like the health where it's like dangerous for you to be in lane still, because she still has ignite, and then her ultimate can almost kill you from where you're at, like currently. An extra pair of regular Tomb Fists, I do not. And this positioning is good though, like leaning toward this side really heavily, because Shyvana's on this side, she can protect you if this Lux chases too far. This Lux doesn't have spells. This is your time to trade back. Even though you're low, this is your timing. Yeah, keep chasing. Another Q. Good job. This is good. This was good. Because she just wasted both of her spells. She missed them. It doesn't matter if you're low. She can't do anything to you. You run up and you kill her. Because she can only do damage to you when she has her spells, basically. And her spells were down. So you might as well just run at her. So good job there. Brian linked me the sneaky pizza sipper a little bit ago. It's something. This is another free wave to push into. Their mid is dead. Alright, this is good. Move back up. Their mid is dead. Their jungler's dead. There's no risk to you whatsoever. You push this in, and then you get a recall. You get a clean recall. This is a clean recall. Because you should have plenty of money. This might be a finished Seraphs. Your Jinx rushed a Guardian Angel. That's interesting. Is this a clean Seraphs? Yeah, we have a full Archangels. That's great. That's great. And then, with the way this game's going, he's building armor, and nobody on their team has any meaningful MR. The second thing that you can build, it'll also be alright into Kench in general, is Morello. Leandre's is really good for kiting, but their team is not all that kiteable. They have more ranged champions than melee, and they're not going to have much MR. When they don't have much MR, Morello's is extremely high value, because it's very high pen. Thanks for the sub, Grift. I appreciate it. And if you want me to go over one of your games, bud, then I can watch one of your games and go over it. I'm going to upload them as highlights afterward to YouTube, and they'll be here on Twitch. But if you just want to support me, then I appreciate that too, bud. Thanks. This should be a Rift Herald. Rift Herald. Rift Herald. They're not here. Rift Herald. They're not here. Rift Herald. Here it is. Hell yeah. This is a turret too. Since they're going to be rotating down, what you could have done is stayed over to the side here, and then you wall this turret off so that they can't get here, and then this turret dies for free. I hope she lives. She's dead. Okay. I don't know why she flashed after the fact. But this is your opportunity. If you want this side lane turret, this is where Talia is best, is you come down, but you don't fully commit. You come down, you make a wall, and then the Rift Herald plus Shyvana gets to take this turret for free without ever being in any danger. So you can make that guaranteed. If you cleanse flash that fast enough, you actually can flash during the pull. But not important. Just take the cone. Alright, at least you dodged. She just walked into everything. I love it. Taking the cone here would have been safer. Because Hook's not going to be back up for a while. But Misfortune inted, so I mean, that's okay. You can get... Oh. This is pretty free. That W is pretty free. A lot of times you jump the gun and you're using your Ws too early. You can wait a second to see the way that they're moving or the way that they commit to. And if they keep committing that way, then it's pretty free to land. And if they don't commit that way, then... if they're slowed, it's hard for them not to just commit to a direction, right? Because they're not going to get away otherwise. So you can kind of E, and if they're already in the middle of the E, like what happened there, then you can save your W a little bit longer to like see what way that they want to try to walk. So this bot tower should have been free. You could have ulted to make sure that that was guaranteed. Yeah, Shyvana shouldn't flash after she dies, and she should have dropped the Rift Herald earlier and things like that. But you can guarantee that by something that you can change. So that's what we're going to focus on. Independent of what if somebody else did something wrong, you can change that. She could have ulted you, you died. You're actually dead on my screen. You don't deserve to be alive. You should be dead. So you should just recall. Yes, you're low on health. You're at risk of dying, so you get out of here. Because if you ever get hit by a stray thing, you fall over. She's hinting. I swear. She didn't see this Shyvana, I don't think. Why'd she flash? These are the worst flashes in the world. These are the worst flashes in the world. He might be able to win this fight. He has to gobble her up, though. He has not been able to successfully gobble her up. Oh, there we go. He's still dead. She can hit him with a spell, yeah. So, 1 for 1 on top side. They invested 2 people on the top side. You guys have equal people on this side, I guess, because Brand is actually top side too. I actually didn't see that. Bot lane is going to need to be pushed out soon. It's pushing toward you guys slowly. You guys can take Dragon as long as you can zone their bot lane off. And so even if you start the Dragon here, you can make this guaranteed again just by walling. You can just put a wall here. And then if their bot lane ran straight here, this should be scary because their bot lane's really strong. This Misfortune's really strong. This is not the greatest way that she could try to steal. They could just run at you and try to kill you while it was still a 2v2. Instead, they're going to probably end up dying on the back end of it. Yeah, he should die. Alright, good job, Jinx. Alright, and she moved back up, so she's inting. EW. I think you tried to do the combo too fast, so you ended up pushing her away. You can do the W before the E if it's on like the edge of range like there, but if you can lay the E into them, then it makes the W really easy to land. Try to take that into consideration. If they're far away, just try to start with just the W, and you don't even have to commit to the E until you like look for half a second to see if it's going to land. You can do it all by eye. But their bot lane should have moved up and fought you guys 2v2 because you guys were low, and this Misfortune's super strong. And if they do that in that scenario, then you guys just lose 2v2 way before Jinx ever gets there. Instead, what they did was run down here, and Misfortune tried to steal it with the corner of her ultimate, because she could have just walked here, laid her ultimate down here. Shyvana didn't even have her dragon finished yet. Shyvana actually just dies. She just dies for free, and you take a ton of damage if you try to trade back. So they misplayed, but you can just put a wall here, and it would stop them from ever being able to contest it. So you could make that literally free. Let's watch this fight that's going on here. Alright, so this is a scenario, you combo out of that. When somebody else lands a CC, you should have your W ready for that. So this was a free WE when he was at like 40% there, and he dies anyway, yes. But those are the situations that you should be keeping your eye on. If somebody else lands a CC, here, this is a WE. Or even just move up to E. So you don't want to waste your spells when somebody else has set up for you. So you used your W on the wave 10 seconds before. If you have your W there, then when he lands that stun, the Tahm Kench dies. If you do it up here instead, that's a few seconds earlier, then this guy dies earlier. And you just want to make sure that you're ready to respond to those kinds of things. You guys are going to need fights where you don't stack up for Misfortune ultimate, or that you can get onto Misfortune to make it unsafe for her to ultimate. Also, if you're off to the side, that could be really good because you have a setup on Misfortune, because if she wants to ultimate, then she has to lock herself in place. And if she locks herself in place like that, then you get a free combo on her, plus Qs, which will chunk her so much. You probably won't outright kill her, but you'll chunk her so much that she won't be able to continue to stay in the fight. So you can play off to the side of a fight more rather than like directly front to back. Especially because your front line isn't particularly durable. She's gonna get eaten. She'll die. You guys have a relatively quick Baron too, because you have Brand plus Shyvana, so that's something that you guys can look for pretty easily. Like after you guys kill here, this has potential when Jinx comes up to be Baron, especially if you could chunk or keep Misfortune away, because you're gonna have your ultimate back up, and you don't need a huge window to do it. Like Brand plus Shyvana has so much damage for that. So you could wall for safety again, just wall for safety without it necessarily walling them in. It walls them away from what you're trying to contest. This is, yeah, you have to respond to this. Oh, shouldn't get eaten. You could see the Misfortune coming there. You could potentially W here and get her through like some of the rocks and get a lot of damage off. That W wasn't the right direction. Even if it did land, that was the wrong direction. You're going to die. That flash is really bad because this Misfortune should have just autoed you and you would have died. Just like Jinx moving up here is really bad. This sequence is bad. You need to move away immediately afterward. Frog already used his ultimate. He doesn't have any real way to chase you down unless you stick around too long. Your Akali is getting more and more powerful. She has been farming Teemo a little bit in the best side lane. Actually, Teemo's ahead too. Teemo is doing a really stupid build. That's interesting. I wonder if she can kill him. She should get an E. Yo. Oh, she gonna get away too. She can turn. Turn. Ooh. If she like auto queued, like reset, she might have done enough damage. This guy just died to Airy. Alright, where's our Talia? She's back alive. What are we doing? What did we end up buying? We bought Leandri's. I think that's the wrong buy here. I think Morello's is the better buy here, because their team is relatively squishy. And when they don't have MR, the flat pen from Morello's is more valuable than the burn from Leandri's, generally speaking. So Morello is probably better here. You know, it'd be really cool if Talia could, like, knock somebody up, not just, like, in a direction. Like, just purely up. That'd be kind of sick. So in scenarios like this, where they're not grouped up for the turret yet, this is another time where you can move over to the side, you wall. If this Blitzcrank stays forward, you 3, because Jinx was right behind you, could dive him, and you guys can kill him for free. And if he doesn't, doesn't move up like that when you made the wall, then you guys just get the turret for free on that wave because they can't clear it safely. So then you would ping it, and Jinx would come hit it with you. So you'd probably have to tell her that she has to come. You know, you have to ping, communicate that to her, but... when she's near the cone here, this is just a little note. This ended up fine anyway, but you can just put E here, and if she takes the cone over, your E does the extra damage. So you can just leave an E there, and it threatens them that if they take the cone, they'll just take like half their health if they're squishy. It's more important that you guys be mid lane. Like, she can do the dragon alone if you guys really, really need the dragon, but you should already be posturing them. You should make a wall. This wall doesn't stop them. You should move up and then make the wall like this, so that they're walled right. That'd be better. Because this wall doesn't threaten them. Yeah, that wall would be better if it was more vertical. Because it would corral them more toward the right, and then Shyvana can run up through them and you can, like, harass. But you don't want to get that close either. She can't chase. She need to chill. So big things thus far. Don't be afraid to use your ultimate, even if it's not for like a fight. Just use it when you guys are going near an objective to keep them off of the objective. And think about what you want to make them do when you make a wall. So like here you made the wall like this, but like they're all the way over here. So this wall doesn't do anything, because even if they walked like straight this way, like by the time they get to the wall is going to be disappearing. So you want to make the wall so it corrals them in a certain direction. So if the idea is to corral them to Shyvana, who's down here, you could wall from here and make it like this. So the only place that they have to go is this way, or they just stay here and wait it out. When you make a wall like this, though, you wouldn't be able to really follow it in because then you'd be trapped on the inside with them. So you'd have to make the wall and then walk up with Shyvana behind her and use her as a front line. You're doing your E's too late from the W. You're not getting all the bonus damage. If you believe in your W, then lay the E out right after it. Sometimes you have time to like visually confirm it. But sometimes you'll just miss. But if you don't do it, do both together, then sometimes you won't get the bonus damage at all. So you want to make sure you're confirming that bonus damage. Akali should be fine here. She can get far enough away. They'd have to go up, and then it would be at risk because these two would be so far ahead that she could one-shot Misfortune. So she's going to be fine because they can't go up that way safely because she's strong. So you guys have a big wave building bot. This is another time where you guys should be pressuring Baron because your comp does Baron really quickly. You have Jinx. You have Brand. You have Shyvana. Shyvana's dead. But you guys still do Baron really quickly. You want to be kiting back here. Do you have your W? No. Lay your E down. After the Shyvana dies there, another option that you have is you can move here, move back a little, and then you could ult and wall them off. So like this is over, you're dead. Let's go back a tiny bit. Let's look at how this starts, right? So Shyvana's running at them. She's a dragon. She's big and scary. Look at her run at them. Alright, she's running at them. Alright, here she goes. This is where she gets found out, exposed. She shouldn't move up after she sees that hook there, because she knows that they're in the area. So she gets licked. She's gonna get bopped. Yep. Alright, so here is where you can move back, and you can wall off the rest of their team from Tahm Kench really safely, and then maybe you guys can like 3v1 the Tahm Kench. So you can move back here, make a wall up. And then if this Blitz wants to come down or this Lux wants to come down, they have to go all the way down. Yes, Blasphemy and any curse linked create an aura. So that's something you could do there to like minimize what happened. Let's speed it up to catch up. This Akali should get a kill here, maybe two. She can get both. Then this is the timing too. You're gonna have 5 people up. You have Leandries, you have a Brand, you have Shyvana, you have Jinx. This is Baron. You guys do Baron. You have wall up too. When you guys start this Baron, a little bit after you start it, let's say a little bit later, you should just ping the Baron and make a wall so that they can't do anything about it. This Jinx is way too far forward. Instead of fighting here, you don't need to fight. You ping the Baron, you make sure you keep your Leandries tags on it, and then you make a wall here to here. And it walls off all the entrances so that they can't contest the Baron. And then you guys just kill it with raw damage. Your Brand was never a part of that, and I don't know what the Brand was doing. So maybe without the Brand, you can't do that anyway. But that would be like the safer way to like guarantee that you guys can get that. Alright, Teemo died to the Baron. She can probably kill him. They're not going to get this either. She can go over. Oh, she could go over. She can kill the Blitz too. And then they'd probably be too low to finish it. What if she gets it? No! That would have been so silly. That would have been so silly. This guy just started playing. Maybe he went AFK. Like he literally looked like he went AFK for a bit. She used to heal so late. It creates a 35% reserve aura that applies the curse to all enemies around you. So you guys need to clear bot wave. There's a dragon coming up in 10 seconds. It's an ocean drake. You guys could have a 3rd ocean. Not terribly valuable. You need to go top lane. You go top. Get this big wave. Go get it. Get all the CS. Get the CS. Look at all this money. Look at it. Go get the money. Hell yeah. This is what we want. We want all this fucking money. Look at this. These creeps. There's so many creeps. They had to go through the jungle to get to lane. There's so many creeps here. Oh, this is free muns. We're happy about this. Alright, so when it looks like you're building Void Staff, or it could be Rylai's. Void Staff here, not so great. The only person on their team with meaningful MR is Tom Kench. Nobody else on their team has meaningful MR. So Void Staff here is not ideal. I don't mind if you go Rylai's, because it makes you more durable. You might survive like a Lux pick. You could probably survive like an extra hit from like Misfortune, or be able to get out of her ultimate easier. And then the Blitzcrank and the Tom Kench become more kiteable. Let's see what happened here. What vision did you have? Let's see why this happened. Alright, so you come back down. They're all in your bottom jungle. Alright, so you hear that they did dragon. So they will probably be coming from the right because they did dragon. Yeah, so you need to be gone. You should be gone. This Akali moves way back. You should be where she is here. She has the right idea here. Yeah, this Void Staff, not very effective. And the Leandris could probably be a Morello's. And it would have a similar build path and be similarly powerful. A little better against their squishies. Your Akali's still really powerful. You could have a Banshees like she does too, because Banshees is really good into the high magic damage their team has, and it's really good at stopping a Lux from getting picks. Or from like a straight tongue that can like set up to kill you. So like Banshees would be the best defensive option that you could buy in this game. I don't necessarily think you need one into their composition. I would probably go like Seraphs into Morellos into Rabcab to do as much damage to squishies as possible. And that'll probably be like the highest damage route that you could go. I don't think this Void Staff is good, and the Leandris probably isn't ideal either. And we haven't found many applicable uses to use your cleanse. I've seen it used twice where it didn't do anything for you. I think a healer barrier would be better. Would have been better. So in most situations, I don't take cleanse unless they have like Ashe or Morgana or something like that. Or if they have like a mid plus jungle that both have CC, then I'll take it. Or if it's like Ashe and then they have like a jungle with CC, like Ashe and Sejuani. Independent of their mid lane pick at that point, I would just take cleanse. But I don't take it for 1 CC, because they only have the 1 CC from Lux that's like going to meaningfully be cleansable. Dude, Plateau Boss can hit really hard. The Ice Totem in particular can hit really hard. Alright. I was going to say you are up way too far. Your team isn't even in a position to help you there. You could have canceled your R and maybe walked away. Alright. Let's see what you're looking for here. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what you're looking for here. You're over to the side here, and goal is maybe to wall them in and your team collapses, maybe. The R here, I think you clicked off of it because you didn't get hit yet. You could have rode it a little bit further until somebody hits you and then it forces you off. Could have rode it a little further, but you don't need to be up looking for this. You can be off to the side like here, because they're going to have to move up to your turrets and inhibitors anyway. So when they do that, you can make the same kind of wall from like over here, and it's a lot safer. So you can make the wall here, then they have no way to get out of your base. And you wouldn't even have to walk, you wouldn't even have to take it. You could just make the wall here, and it would wall them into you. Which I assume is what you're looking for here, but... Can they end? That's game, isn't it? Unless this Akali's nuts. They could end. Alright, do they end? No, this Misfortune's trolling. This Misfortune's actually trolling. This game should be over. She's actually trolling. This game was so over. Well, I guess the game probably doesn't end now. Because she spent so long hitting the inhibitor. She's not hitting the other Nexus turret either. Wow. And then she's gonna die of the fountain. Alright, this Misfortune literally just cost them. Like, if they lose this game, they can, like, you guys can 9 times report this Misfortune. That's for damn sure. So you don't need to be the one that's looking for like these crazy walls off to the side or anything like that. You don't need to be like the playmaker. You can respond to what they're trying to do, because if you're kiting back, it's really hard for their team to threaten you. They don't lose, by the way. Fuck. The Misfortune literally inted. She deserves to lose the game for that shit. Let's see what this ends up breaking on. This wave has to be caught. It has its supers in it. So it's better if this gets caught and then pushed out, so it takes longer. This wall isn't bad with the collie coming. This wall is fine. I like this wall. Sometimes your E is up when your W isn't up, and your E has a much lower cooldown than your W does later. Like, it's like almost half. So you can just put your E down for the slow and the little bit of damage without necessarily trying to combo. So a lot of times you save your E for when you're looking for a combo, but you can just use your E again like a second time before the W comes up. And a lot of times the slow and the little bit of damage is more valuable. And it also carries like threat, because if they stay in that area, then they take extra damage too. This would have been a good opportunity for you guys to Baron. With all that advantage you had, because they still have 3 dead, they're going to have 3 dead, you're going to have like a big window where you can punish them. This would have been a good opportunity to Baron. This is going to be Elder, right? Yeah, this will be Elder. So if you get Baron here, maybe you can even like get Elder right afterward. But like one person recalls, and then they stay and they clear, and then the rest of you would be doing Baron. But if your whole team's not here, there's no point in standing here. So you should be up here clearing this wave. We are watching Rock Lady. So if your team's not here, there's no point in sitting here, like, waiting. Can she run you down? She might have been able to. So you should have been up here clearing this wave, and then you can still get back here in time. This is a situation where he might want to take the cone. You would just put down an E, and then you would kite left. You would kite left here, because they're going to come up from here, from what you already knew. So you can safely just, you can kite left while you put an E down. So sometimes your team's not going to listen, right? You guys should have got a Baron there, necessarily. That would be ideal, right? If you guys get the Baron. But if your team doesn't come, you can't control their characters for them. So you have to make the next best, right? So the next best is then when they don't start coming, then you come up here and you clear the wave so that you, so you're not as pressured by minions in the meantime. And then that means that you're in a better position when they're in your jungle after. Because you can't ultimately control your team. You can try to tell them what you want them to do, but sometimes you just kind of have to do the best you can with like what they're doing. Alright, so big takeaways from this. I don't think Cleanse was the right call when they only have one major CC that you can take it for, so take Barrier or Heal. I don't think that Leandri's is necessarily great here. It's good into Tahm Kench. It's not very good into the rest of their team, and they don't have almost any MR. The only guy with MR is Tahm Kench. So you can actually go Morellos, and Morellos will destroy the other people on the team. Blitz didn't build an MR thing till post like 36 minutes, and nobody else on their team has any MR whatsoever. So double pen is super high value into their team. Double pen super high valuable. So that would be Sork Shoes, and then you go Morello second instead of Leandri's. This Void Staff, for the same vein, there's only one guy with MR. This isn't very useful. This could be a Rab Cap. It would also help your wave clear since you're the ones being pushed in. So Rab Cap would give you more burst on squishies, and it would help you kill creeps easier. So that's just it for build. Build isn't the biggest problem here. You throw out your W a lot of the times without connecting your E, so you do the E too late to get like the full combo damage. You could practice that even in just like a custom game just to get the timing down. So just like E drag and then just immediately press W drag and then immediately press E. And make sure that you can use your wall in ways that aren't for fights. So you only use your wall in this game for fights. But when you go bot lane with Shyvana and she has the Rift Herald, you can just wall here, and you guys get the tower for free. When you guys are postured at this mid turret, when they were recalled and Blitzcrank was the only one around, you wall, Jinx moves over, and you get the turret for free. That kind of thing. And then when you guys are on Baron, if Brand were to move over, you might not have got it anyway because Brand was like AFK in mid lane. that happens. But then you can get the Baron for free. So you can use your wall to make it so they can't contest things rather than using it as like a way to like force a fight to happen. The wall that you did here, you can rewatch this after to like see what I'm talking about. But the wall you did here doesn't stop them from doing anything. So the wall would be better if it was more vertical because it would corral them more this way, and then they would have to go into Shyvana, and then you wouldn't take it. Then you would just walk up with Shyvana and use her as a front line, or allow you to like through rocks past her. And early game, if you're low on health to the point where you can die to something that's basically like unavoidable, like she just ease you and then like flash autos you, or ease you and then ignites you, like then you might as well just recall, because it's not even worth staying in lane at that point. And you stayed in lane for I think 3 waves while you were really around like the level 5 to 6 period. That can be a recall, and then you can look for opportunities to roam really early. So let me go to that real quick. Let me find this where you're sitting in lane. Let's go a little past this and you'll be Yeah, so now you're and you sit in lane here with no mana for like 3 waves, and you even try to like move down at one point, but you're too low mana to be able to like effectively roam. So you need to be able to cast your spells when you go somewhere. So if you can't cast your spells when you go somewhere, then it's not too useful that you go there. Here it would have been better to just like Q and then like follow her with the Q to do as much damage as possible. It's what you're maxing, so it's probably what you want to spend your mana on. Your combo doesn't do that much damage early, you get more damage out of your Q. Later game, your combo owns. It's mostly for follow-up on other people's CC. But you're looking for a roam here. You would be able to cast 1 spell when you showed up, so there's no point in roaming here. When you pushed in this wave, you could have just went for a recall. So notice that when you push in, you want to get recalls in so that you can have clean times to roam. Because you need health and you need mana to be able to roam. And if you don't have one of those things, then you can't look for roams effectively, because it's not going to be nearly as impactful as it could be. And you want to be looking for roams as often as possible until you, because of how quickly she gets around the map and how quickly she can push. So be mindful that you can use wall for things that aren't fights. Don't be afraid to recall to get your health or mana back, so you can look for more roams. And maybe practice your combo a little, honestly. Like, it seems like trivial, but like there's a couple times where you don't get like the E damage off of it, or it's not like quite smooth. So, and then I'll make a highlight of this later.